everyone, I'm Steve Hensley. Leading our news tonight at 6, a federal jury is expected to begin deliberations tomorrow in the trial of 8 people in Clay County accused of vote fraud. WYMT's Angela Beavin joins us now live from Frankfort with the latest on today's closing arguments and tonight's top story at 6.
Good evening, Steve. Yes, we did just finish up day 2 and the final day of closing arguments. Now, if you'll recall, yesterday the prosecuting attorney made his final arguments, and today each of the 8 defense attorneys went before the jury. Now, every attorney said their client was not guilty of any and all charges. They all say the U.S. cannot prove any of the accusations. They also all say that several of the government's witnesses and their testimonies are questionable. Each defense attorney asked the jury to consider his or her client independently, yet all say that the government's accusation that the 8 were working together in a conspiracy cannot be proved beyond reasonable doubt. Former Circuit Judge Cletus Miracle's attorney questioned some of the witnesses' credibility, namely Wanda and Kenan White, 2 witnesses brought up repeatedly by each lawyer. He also tells the jury the FBI's evidence is not sufficient. Former school superintendent Doug Adams' attorney argues that the prosecution has a lot wrong and says certain witnesses that should have been called upon were not. Charles Wayne Jones is charged with stealing votes, among other charges. His attorney says he was not capable of manipulating voting machines. William Stiver's attorney points out that the defendants all supported different candidates and political parties, suggesting they would not conspire together. Bart Morris and his wife Deborah have separate attorneys, but both argue their client's company, B&J Transfer, was successful not because of bribery or extortion. Finally, Stanley Bowling's attorney took the floor, arguing that no witness provided any evidence Bowling pooled money for vote fraud. And Freddie Thompson's attorney argued his client was not involved in training other election officers to steal votes. Now, as you can imagine, there was a lot more discussed in today's nearly 8 hours of argument. Once defense attorneys did finish up, the prosecuting attorney had a chance to make his final rebuttal. He says all the talk about not enough evidence ignores the fact of what the government actually did find and were able to prove. Now, the jury will meet tomorrow morning to go over instructions with the judge for a couple hours, they say, and then after that they will begin deliberating this case. Live from Frankfort, I'm Angela Beavin. Steve, back to you.
All right, Angela, thank you very much. A 65-year-old